let's talk about the required materials that you'll need for this class. So the most important thing is the textbook. This is your textbook. It's the Concepts of Biology, and it's available at the OpenStax website. There's a link to that in your syllabus. I chose the OpenStax textbook because it's available as an e-version in a bunch of different ways. It's also free, and if you want the physical copy, this isn't free, but it's pretty cheap. This hard copy is, I think, 30 bucks, and then the soft copy is like $23 or $24. So those are available on Amazon. Another way you can access the book is by downloading the OpenStax Concepts of Biology app. And this is an app that you can download on iOS or on your Android device. And I'll provide links to that in the syllabus. And basically that is an easy way that you can navigate the book using like a very well organized interface. You can also use that anytime you forget your book at home. You can download it on another device and access the book. So there's also a Kindle app called the Kindle e-reader app. That's something you might want to have on your computer, a tablet, or your phone. And that's a way that you can download both this textbook and the lab manual. So there's a bunch of different ways to get the book. Most of those ways are free. You'll need to access the book. It's a great way to really drive home the concepts we'll talk about in lecture. And sometimes the way I explain things is not entirely clear. I know that, I'm okay with that, but luckily we have the anchor of the book that you can go back to. And if you still don't understand after I explain it on a video and after you read it in the book, well then join us in our group office hours that we'll talk about in a moment. And then you can ask me for more ways to understand the material. You can also reach out to other students and see how they understand the material. For our lab, you will need a lab manual. That lab manual is available as a digital copy, and that will be accessible using a Kindle e-reading app. So the Kindle app is available on iOS and the Android store. You can also download it onto a desktop or a laptop, and that's a way that you can read ebooks that you download. It's the Kindle app. Once you download that app, you'll then be able to get books on Kindle or like through Amazon as an ebook, and they'll upload to your app account. The lab manual is available this way as an ebook through Kindle, and the textbook is also available that way. The textbook version is free, of course. The lab manual is $9.99, so it's going to be about 10 bucks for the lab manual. If you happen to have access to a physical copy from last semester, that should work too. We will be loosely following the lab manual, but there are some important details that will come from the lab manual, and it's also another great way to anchor your understanding in text that will explain different concepts in another way. A lot of times that diversity of explanation is what we really need to drive concepts home. So you need the lab manual, and that's available as an ebook through Amazon for use on the Kindle app. The next required material that you will need is a digital microscope. To buy a digital microscope, you'll have to look on Amazon. There's a lot of different options. Most of them are from $30 to $50. A digital microscope is basically a zoomable camera that is really good at zooming in on really small objects. This is rechargeable, and it also links up to your device in order to view what you're seeing on this digital microscope. However you order it, the most important thing is that you have a digital microscope that zooms, that at least says it zooms somewhere from 50 to 1,000. It also should take pictures. You're going to need to upload those pictures for credit on some assignments, and this is the way we're going to substitute the use of a microscope in our lab. The cool thing about this, though, is that when we're done, you get to keep it, and they're really super fun to look at all kinds of tiny things. So digital microscope, it's the third required item on our list, and yeah, somewhere between like 30 and 50 bucks. You're going to need that within 2 weeks. The next thing that is required for this class is a pointer, and you're going to make that pointer at home. You could even change it out depending on the things that you're pointing at, but this is a way that I can more clearly see what you're trying to show me when you take pictures during your lab. And sometimes you'll be asked to take pictures of different things and identify them. Well, this is how I can tell that you know exactly what we're talking about, and you're identifying the exact structures that you need to be identifying. So this is an example that I cut out of paper. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And once you cut out your pointer, this is just like a medium-sized pointer, I need you to put your name on it and your signature. Once you've cut out your pointer, you'll also want to get your hands on some sticky notes. And this is so you can actually label what you're pointing at. So here's an example of how you would use the pointer to show something specific. So in this case, we're going to show off a leaf on this branch. And I want to indicate in my picture that I'm showing off this leaf right here. So to do that, I'm going to take my pointer and I'm going to take one of these sticky notes, and these ones I've cut down to size so they'll be just the right size. I'm just going to write on here exactly what we're looking at, and the exact terminology I'm asking for right here is just leaf. You can write down leaf. Put this on your pointer and then point at the leaf. Then you can take your picture and you will have a very clear indicated image that has a pointer showing me that you are exactly pointing at the anatomy or the structure that we want to see. The next thing you need for this class is time. You're going to have to take time in order to fulfill these activities. Now, I'm pretty mindful of how long some of the things will take. For example, if I ask you to go to the store and buy a few small items for your laboratory, I'll give you at least an hour to 2 hours in order to fulfill that kind of material gathering period. In lecture, you will have videos, and those videos will take a certain amount of time. So you'll have at least an hour and a half of videos per week to watch. Those activities will take a minimum of 2 hours to complete. While you're engaged in those activities, I can see how long they take. And so a lot of these things are what I call reverse timed. I want to make sure you're spending a minimum amount of time engaged in the material. So what do I mean by that? If I have a question that I ask you after a 5-minute video and you answer that question, and I see that you answered that question in 20 seconds, you only spent 20 seconds in the activity, well, I can tell that you didn't watch the video for 5 minutes. So you won't get any credit for that, or you'll get minimal credit for that activity because you just answered questions and you didn't engage in the material. Whereas if you watch the full video and then you move on to the next question, it should take at least 5 minutes plus a minute in order to fulfill that assignment. And so you are evaluated on how long you're taking. You're proctored in the sense that you are required to watch the full length of material before answering questions, and that's going to take some time. So during your week, you need to put time aside to complete these assignments, and I will include how long I estimate the assignment to take in the header. That's not a hard requirement, but that's about how long these assignments take. On that note, if you just go through the assignments, watch the videos, you'll never have a problem with timing. It's very clear to me if you've done the assignment and tried your best. But if you rush through the assignment, you don't watch videos, and you just answer the questions, you will have massive amounts of points reduced if you get any points at all. So you do have to engage in the material. There's probably ways to get around this. It's by no means my foolproof system to keep people from cheating or anything like that. This is just a way that I can steadily reward you for giving your time, and I could kind of manage how much time that you're putting into the class. So you'll need time for this class, about 5 hours a week, give or take, in order to complete the activities. The next required item is a device. Now, this is a digital class, this is an online class, so the assumption is that you do have access to a device and Wi-Fi. If I were to be more specific as to what devices you need, you would do best if you had a laptop and either a tablet or a cell phone or both. The cell phone is a great, easy way to take pictures and upload them onto Canvas, and you'll want to be able to navigate Canvas on your cell phone in order to do that. But it's an easy way to just upload pictures onto Canvas, and it's also a great way to view things using your digital microscope. So a tablet or a phone will be a great way to view things on your digital microscope and take pictures and engage in the class in that way. A tablet or a laptop or a desktop will be great when you're navigating Canvas and you're fulfilling the lecture requirements and lecture assignments. That is an easy way to navigate Canvas, and the textbook or the lab manual, those will be best viewed on a bigger device like a tablet or a laptop. So I would recommend two devices, access to two devices. You might already have a laptop and a cell phone, or a laptop and a tablet, or a tablet and a cell phone. So ideally you have those things. If you don't have those things, DVC has a temporary grant, some funds available, and that's on the homepage. There's a link. If you apply now, you should be able to get access to stipends of, I think, $500. This is a grant. This is money that you can use to access whatever you need in order to fulfill classes that are now online, that are online because of COVID. So it's basically a grant to help get you things that you might not have. Get what you need. You need two devices for this class, something big, something small, something to take pictures with. If you have any more questions about that, you're welcome to email me at epara@dvc.edu. The final required material for this class is handwriting tools. You will need a notebook for lab. That's a lab notebook. You can use any bound lined paper notebook. And for lecture, you'll need to take notes. I don't mind how you do that. It could be another notebook or it could be loose leaf paper, but you'll need paper in order to take notes for your lectures. You can use pen or pencil. I don't mind either, as long as it's legible when you take pictures. And again, notes and your lab notebook are things that you will be required to take pictures of and upload. You will also be practicing that at the end of this activity, so prepare for your first upload of an image. At the end of this activity, you will be writing and uploading a picture of that writing. So to do that, you're going to need a pen or pencil, paper, and a lab notebook.